Bob wakes up on cold ground. No flowers, no candlelight, no dating apps, no matching outfits, no expensive rings. Just wind, trees, and a small group of ancient humans quietly watching him like he wandered into the wrong movie. Bob smiles. Finally, a chance to see real romance. Pure, simple, uncomplicated. Then he spots a young man walking toward a small hut, carrying a giant pile of firewood. Bob assumes it is a favor. Maybe a chore. Maybe kindness. An old woman leans over and whispers the truth. That is not kindness. That is a proposal. And Bob is about to learn that everything he thinks he knows about attraction is about 10,000 years out of date. Bob watches more carefully. The young man drops the firewood, then walks back into the forest, then returns with more, every single day, rain or sun, cold or heat. Bob laughs. This is not romance. This is manual labor. The old woman shakes her head. In this world, showing up matters more than showing off. Anyone can say sweet words. Only a reliable person keeps returning with firewood while their arms shake from exhaustion. Ancient attraction had a very simple test. Do your actions match your promises? Bob quietly puts his hands in his pockets and hopes no one asks him to carry anything. Now Bob watches the tribe closely. He assumes the strongest hunter must be the most desired partner. Big muscles, loud voice, fast runner, classic action hero. He points at the strongest man in the group and gives a confident thumbs up. The tribe stares at him blankly. Because in real ancient life, raw strength was helpful, but never the whole story. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups have found something surprising. The best hunters were respected, but the most valued partners were often people who were dependable, generous, calm, and skilled at cooperating with others. A brilliant hunter who kept all the meat for himself was not admired. A modest hunter who shared with the whole group was treasured. Because in a small tribe, generosity was survival insurance. Today you feed me. Tomorrow I feed you. Someone who shared during good times became someone worth trusting during bad times. Bob suddenly realizes that ancient attraction was less about looking impressive and more about being someone the group could count on. Now Bob notices something even stranger. Families are involved in everything. He assumed choosing a partner was a private decision. Two people. A spark. A yes. But in this ancient world, parents, siblings, elders, cousins, and even neighbors have opinions. Loud ones. Because in a tribe, a new partnership was not just about two people. It was about food supply, safety, alliances, and the survival of future children. Two lives merging affected the whole group. That does not mean ancient people had no personal choice. Evidence suggests many hunter-gatherer societies allowed real preference, real attraction, and even real heartbreak. But the community rarely stayed silent. Bob whispers that this sounds stressful. The old woman replies that it also meant no one made a huge life decision completely alone. Then Bob spots two people quietly holding hands near the fire. He assumes they just met. They have been together for 20 years. And this is where evolution reveals one of its biggest secrets. Human babies are absolute disasters. Not emotionally, biologically. A baby deer stands within an hour. A baby monkey clings to its mother instantly. A human baby arrives with almost no survival skills, a giant head, and a decade of helplessness. Raising a human child took more than one person. It took a team. Mothers, fathers, grandmothers, older siblings, trusted friends. That is why long-term pair bonding became such a powerful pattern in human evolution. Not because ancient people believed in fairy tales, because ancient children were far more likely to survive when adults committed to each other and to the group. Loyalty was not romantic decoration. Loyalty was infrastructure, and grandmothers may have been the secret weapon. Scientists call it the grandmother hypothesis. In many ancient groups, older women who no longer had young children of their own helped feed and care for their grandchildren. This dramatically increased child survival. It may even be one reason humans evolved to live so long after their fertile years. Bob realizes something quietly beautiful. Ancient love was never just about two people. It was about the invisible network holding those two people up. Now Bob watches a young woman turn down a very handsome, very confident hunter. Bob is shocked. The man had everything: symmetry, muscles, excellent hair. The elder explains. He is impressive, yes, but he is also unpredictable. He speaks harshly. He breaks small promises. He gets angry too quickly. In a tribe where daily cooperation was survival, an unpredictable partner was a serious risk. Reputation traveled fast in small groups. Everyone knew who was patient, who was harsh, who was loyal, who was reckless. There was no filter, no online image, no highlight reel. You were who your neighbors said you were. Bob nervously wonders what his tribe would say about him. The old woman smiles kindly and changes the subject. Now here is where the story turns. Modern humans are not tribal hunters anymore. We live in cities. We swipe on screens. We meet strangers from thousands of miles away. Dating has changed more in the last 30 years than in the last 30,000, but our brains have not caught up. Underneath all the technology, the human mind still quietly scans for the same ancient signals: trust, kindness, reliability, confidence, competence, emotional steadiness, the ability to cooperate, the willingness to show up again and again. That is why a partner who is flashy but unreliable often feels exciting, yet somehow wrong, and why a partner who is calm, generous, and consistent feels safe in a way that is hard to explain. Your modern mind sees a profile. Your ancient mind sees a tribe member. Bob sits by the fire and finally understands. Ancient humans did not choose partners based on perfection. They chose based on survival, cooperation, and trust. They chose the people who kept returning with firewood. Even when it was cold, even when it was heavy, even when nobody was watching. Bob looks up at the ancient stars and whispers something to himself. Maybe love was never invented. Maybe it was inherited. But Bob's next journey will reveal something even stranger.